The American boarding schools, I thought what I would do is just give a quick introduction for American boarding schools, and I thought this might be equally interesting for the office here and then anybody who's viewing this online. In the United States, there are about 300 boarding schools. Most of the boarding schools are going to be in what's called New England, from New York to Boston. You have a few different types. Secondary schools that go with grades 9 through 12, it's obvious. That's where Salisbury School is. Salisbury is a secondary school. Some have postgraduate years, which is just 1 year of postgraduate study. It's a high school. You're a high school graduate, you study for a year, and the college is respected as a transition program, getting ready for a high-level university or college. And then there's some schools that begin as early as 6th grade and go through the 9th grade. And those schools will then subsequently feed into Salisbury School, which goes 9th through 10th grade. So, as you see, the entry grades can vary. We have had some wonderful students from Asia, from Hong Kong specifically, that have come in the 9th grade. Some have come in the 10th grade, and some have come in the 11th grade. And the academic criteria will be different for each, basically because our goal will be the same as any student studying abroad, studying in the United States, to have the best academic performance so that they can end up at a wonderful college or university. One of the things that's unique to many of our schools, but especially Salisbury, is the familiarity in working with international applications. We'll talk a little more about that later, but be confident as you contact schools. Most every one of the schools now will have confidence walking you through the visa process, the application process, having an international advisor on campus. At Salisbury, we're a boys' school, so we'll know your son well. And then the final piece will be the familiarity with college counseling for international students. There are many international students studying in the United States for college, too, and that's one of our key resources, and you'll see later Salisbury's had great success with college placement for international students. Salisbury has 300 students, and we think that's an optimum number of students. Some schools will be a lot larger, and be as many as 1,000, 1,200. Some will be much smaller and about 100, and it just will make a difference in terms of how well a school will know your child. Boarding student percentage versus day student percentage, my argument to you would be, as you're looking at schools, look for schools that have a high percentage of boarding students, so you know that your son or daughter is going to be well cared for on the weekends. Salisbury during the summer is 100% boarding, and during the school year we are 95% boarding. So with our international student advisor, there are a number of things going on campus. You know that there will be a thriving life going on during the weekends. And then many schools will have homestay programs, like Salisbury does too, but a homestay program, if there's a long weekend of 3-4 days, then your son will be able to be cared for by an American family. International student percentage is an interesting one, and I think we try and cap the number of international students per each class, and part of it is so that there'll be an English language, American culture enrichment, and connection, but also during the college process, that if you have too many students from any one country, that it will hurt their chances at certain colleges because of competition. Faculty with advanced degrees, endowment, college placement is obvious. We'll talk about that again later. Location. Some schools will be in the city, some will be in suburbs, and some will be in the country. And that's really sort of a preference by students. Many of the schools are in the country, very safe, very clean, like Salisbury's. You'll see photos. Summer programs, of course, can often give families confidence in terms of the transition process for the school. And then academic support services. What I mean by that would be English as a second language, maybe one-on-one tutoring, writing focus program. We do not, Salisbury does not have an ESL program during the school year. We do during the summer. What we do in lieu of the ESL pieces, we'll have a bridge program to help international students who are often quite bright coming to Salisbury, but help bridge their English language skills in preparation for being fully mainstreamed by the mid-year. Almost all our students don't necessarily need the bridge program, but it's helpful to know you have it. Here's some resources that might be helpful for you for finding schools. Website, you have the school-specific ones, salisburyschool.org, salisburysummerschool.org, boarding school review, it's comparative. It'll compare some of those stats we talked about before. And then the Association of Boarding Schools is our parent group that has all the boarding schools on it, so it's boardingschools.com. All those websites will give you the details you need. The Boarding School Advantage, of course, the academic challenge, and this is true for U.S. students as well, and the respect that colleges will have that these students are growing more independence, have a greater academic challenge, a greater academic connection. AP programs, that would be like an IB curriculum, high-level classes. Salisbury, for example, has 17 AP classes. Opportunity, because we're a school of 300 students with 60 or 70 faculty members, we have a lot of attention. We also have a lot of opportunity for the students to be involved in things beyond the academics too. Class size, even in the United States, a lot of the public schools would be 35, 40 students. Salisbury is 10 to 15 students, and most boarding schools will fall in that range too. Academic support, we talked about the faculty-student ratio. Individualized instruction would be tutoring, or maybe specific to a class during the extra help session during the day. Again, we want to optimize the students' chances for success. Academic independence includes, we will have study halls at night where we're making sure there's quiet hours on campus. But this reflects with the college process too, that the colleges know that these students are going to be well prepared for the next step because they've been somewhat independent academically in terms of their work. And then the final piece again, the college placement and chances for academic success are maximized. And back to the point of Salisbury being a boys' school, and a boys' school, very little distraction because we're not having girls in class. The teachers are experts in teaching boys, just as a girls' school, the teachers would be expert at teaching girls. In the United States, as many as 60% of the applicants for college now in universities are women. So there's an advantage at a boys' school to be coming from a boys' school applying for these colleges without the competition at the end of the girls having higher GPAs. The application process. Much of the application process and the inquiry stage has now gone computer-based, internet-based. And the internet-based falls within just getting on any of these websites and doing the inquiry, getting on any of these websites, and even doing an online application as you can with Salisbury. We have done Skype interviews have been quite popular for some of the international students. It's free and it's easy to do and just makes things easier. Not all students interview on campus. And then the application process, you can either do the school-specific application or there are different websites. SSAT, which is a national organization, and the Association of Boarding Schools both have their own online application, and I'm sure that IIE can help you with that. Transcript, again, our familiarity working with international students, the transcript has been so helpful for us, or our knowledge with the international transcripts has been so helpful. The TOEFL exam is very good too, but it's a college-level entrance exam, so it's not necessarily easy for high school age students, and the sub-tests and maybe some other standardized tests. The recommendations, of course, are quite helpful. I would say most of the schools have a February 1st application deadline, but if you happen to be after February 1st, I would say there are also the majority of the schools will have rolling admissions after that, which means you can apply in June and July just to be based on space at the school. It's probably best for the international applicants to be on the front side of things and apply by February 1st. And then you get to hear on March 10th. And generally it's done now by fax or by email, so you don't have to wait for a letter. International students, whether many boarding schools will have beginning ESL. I think the question you want to ask, if they have beginning ESL, will there be an advancement process and a chance to mainstream? Our philosophy at the school is that the immersion for a bright boy, that they will be successful because of the academic support we have. So the bridge program almost might fall in an advanced area. Total immersion academically, that's a little bit more of our philosophy with support. Transitional academic program, that might be a summer school for some students, summer school for 5 weeks, and then we provide homestay afterwards. And then specific orientation to international students to make them comfortable in the process of coming to a new school. The final goal, of course, is having an excellent U.S. college or university. Actually, coming from Hong Kong, the F1 visa, the I-20 is quite easy.